Hello, everyone. Welcome to Confidence Tea Infusions. I am so happy that you could make it tonight. I have a very special guest for you tonight. Miss Kyra is back. If you were here last week, she joined us as we talked about generational trauma and past hurts. And so tonight we're going to be talking about self care. So, welcome to Confidence Tea Infusions, where we get to share an intimate, confidence boosting conversation between us girls all over a cup of tea. So, say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from and chime in at your leisure. I love to conversate and connect with you. So, for those of you who don't know me, if this is your first time tuning in, I'm Virginia Madison, but everyone calls me Gigi. I am a Jill of many trades. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in family business, as well as a bachelor's degree in theology. I am a licensed esthetician and a licensed insurance broker. I am also a certified master life coach and a certified etiquette consultant. So with that being said, I have more degrees than a thermometer, but what I am most proud of is being the founder and CEO of Gigi Inc., which is Girls Igniting Greater Inner Strength. We are a nonprofit confidence building organization for girls ages 12 to 18, where I help girls to journey through adolescence with healthy self-confidence and positive self-esteem so that they can win the mental, physical, and emotional battles of adolescence. In our Girls Igniting Academy, we offer confidence building courses as well as mentorship programs and also camps for girls. This year, we will be hosting our third annual Confidence Glam Camp, which will take place in Roberts, Georgia on July 8th through the 11th. So for more information about Confidence Glam Camp 2021, please go to our website at www.giginc.org. So tonight, as I said before, we have a very special guest. We are going to be talking about self-care and the importance of self-care. So Miss Kyra is here and she's going to be talking to you guys all about some of the tips to help you get your self-care and gear and in check. She is a mental health advocate. She is a public speaker and clarity coach. She helps women focus on finding clarity and by helping them to streamline their goals. She is a beauty influencer. She loves to collaborate with brands that have a positive message. I'm so happy to be collaborating with her. And on a personal note, she says she loves sci-fi movies and she loves to curl up and read a good book. And she is a tea enthusiast. And what better place to have her than right here? On Confidence Tea Infusions. So I am so happy to introduce to you guys Miss Kyra Ariana. Hello. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi, how are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How's everything?
It's good. It's good.
Good. I'm so happy that you're here. We get to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that is self-care, because I thoroughly enjoy taking care of myself. I love to do those pampering activities. I just love self-care, and I believe I am a big advocate of self-care, especially as women. We have to take care of ourselves because if we don't, nobody is going to do that. So please, let's get started. Let's talk about self-care.
Yes. So one of my favorite quotes is by an activist. Her name is Audre Lorde. And she says, caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation. And the reason why I really like that is because a lot of times, indulgence is, self-indulgence is really good. It can get us where we need to go. But as far as like long term and getting to the root of the issue, sometimes we have to preserve ourselves in other ways, like the job that you may have, or that projects you may have at school or anything like that, where you feel like you're not spacing out enough of your time to really take care of yourself. Sometimes self-care is learning how to set your boundaries. Sometimes self-care is learning how to take chunks of time and take downtime with yourself and just doing all of that where you're really caring for yourself in a way that is long term, in the long term run of it. And that's why that's one of my favorite quotes. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, and that's great because it serves its purpose. And I love me a fresh set, even though right now I can't do it because I play guitar, and so guitar is also one of my self-care regimens, guitar. But that's why I really like that quote, because it really gets you to think more so on like I know you said the physical aspect that you take care of in your for Gigi Inc. And this is really going into the mental aspect of it and the emotional aspect of it. Like, how is that going to affect me long term in the long run? So that's what I like to say to my clients is self-care is definitely it can be definitely an act of warfare sometimes, because you're fighting against the outside, you're fighting against other forces, you're fighting against just everyday life stressors and everything. And it can really weigh down on you sometimes. So that's something that I really like to talk about to my clients.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think self care is so important, and as women, it's especially important because of all of the responsibilities that we take on. And it's one of those things we have to. It's almost like we really have to strive to mentally make ourselves more cognizant of taking care of ourselves, because we don't always do it. Right? We don't always, sometimes it's like we are last. We put everybody else first. We put our jobs first, our careers, we put our children, we put our husbands and spouses or whatever. And sometimes we are last. And, especially during this whole month of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, we have to have an outlet. We have to take better care of ourselves, because that is
Right.
how that's going to help us preserve ourselves and preserve our mental health, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And you touched on that. You touched on how women are so many different things. In the Bible where it talks about Paul being all things to all people. Women are women of all sorts. They wear so many hats and they do so much in the community, and it's like you said, you need to preserve yourself, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Like, what's
Nope.
going to come out of it? Nothing is going to come out of it, and you're just slowly draining the livelihood and the emotional well-being, your physical well-being. You can get sick, you can get different ailments and things from just stress alone,
Mhm.
without really taking that time to really commit to self-care and the whole preservation of it. It could really wreak havoc. It could really wreak havoc.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, your business, you have it's called Sisters in Self Care. Tell us a little bit about Sisters in Self Care.
Yes. So Sisters in Self Care is my coaching business where I coach women on how to take care of themselves through self care techniques and through coaching techniques. I try to get them to realize that they have the limitless potential within themselves. They have the confidence within themselves, because everything they need is within themselves. And I just draw that out of them through coaching techniques, through questions, through just different exercises. And I also help teenagers as well with workshops and just different things like that, to help women really and teenagers really come into that how can I say this, to really hit that threshold of, okay, this is what I want to do, this is my purpose, this is how I'm going to take care of myself for the rest of my life, this is what I need to start doing right now. If I haven't already picked it up, I want to pick it up now, so that I'll be able to preserve myself. And my company really goes into that. Yeah, my company really goes into that, really helping our women and our young women to really thrive in that aspect with self-care. And that's why I named it Sisters in Self-Care, because it's a community-based type deal. I want to keep it, community-based, because another thing is, another branch of self-care is also having someone with you, like a support system, and having your sister with you makes that whole community thing of sisters and self-care.
Absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love that because it really does take a community, and it really does take all of us sharing in that message that self care is important, because I have seen the effects that not taking care of ourselves can have. I've seen women that have suffered, mental breakdowns, or just, a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of trauma, health
Mm-hmm.
ailments, and things of that nature, because they're not taking adequate care of themselves, whether that be because of, we all have goals, we all have, our work lives, our home lives, all the things that we do as women. We wear many hats. And sometimes we're
Mm-hmm.
so accustomed to wearing those hats that we never stop to give ourselves a break and take those hats off and just be ourselves. And so, it's very
Yes,
important, because one of the most important, like, you can't replace you, right? Like,
no,
there's
focus on
nothing,
you.
so after you burn yourself out and you do all this stuff, then what? And so, let me see, who is this Brenda says self-care is most important. It is one of the most important things that we can do, is to take care of ourselves, because like you said previously, we can't pour from an empty cup. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, it's going to be very difficult for us to take care of anybody else.
Exactly,
Definitely.
exactly.
Definitely.
And that's something that is just really important. Taking care of others is a big responsibility, but you have to take care of yourselves, and you have to let yourself know that it's okay. That it's okay for me to take this time. It's okay for me to take a break. It doesn't make me less of a person, doesn't make me weak. It actually makes me emotionally intelligent. The fact that I know that I need to take these emotional and mental and physical breaks for myself, it's really beneficial to do those things, because it's really, like we keep stressing, it's really an act of self-preservation, because a lot of women are having heart attacks at a young age, strokes at a young age. I mean, it's so important because it's your life. Self-care isn't just a buzzword, but it's something that really means saving your life, something that in the long run, you don't know how long we have, to live, but it's like, whatever you can do to stretch out those years, take care of yourself and put yourself in the best health you can, exercise, eating, um, therapy, going out for walks, laughter, reading. I mean, it's so much you can do with self care, and so much of it that's free that you can do. It's so important, and I just want to stress that. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of times when people think of self care, they think of, oh, I have to have all this money to, go get my nails
right.
done. And they think of, but there's so many more. So, really quickly, I want to go over just the different types of self care, right? So, there is physical, right? There's physical self care. So, that is taking care of your physical body. That is making sure that you're sleeping 8 hours a day. Sometimes just sleep is taking care of yourself. That is self-care.
Yes.
Sleeping, making sure that you're getting the right nutrition, that is self-care. Making sure you're getting proper exercise, that is self-care, right? Then there is spiritual self-care. That is the activities that nurture your spirit. Not to say that, okay, you have to be a spiritual, person, but whatever that is to you, whatever that is for you. Everyone, so mine is God. Like, I love the Lord. I love to spend time, with God, and to meditate and to think about just these different aspects, and to be in a place where I'm nurturing my spirit. I'm adding to my spirit, right? Then there's the mental and emotional aspect of self-care, right? So what activities do you do that help you with your emotional? If you're going through something, what is your outlet? If it's, writing in a journal, if it's talking to someone, right? Maybe, some
Mhm.
people, have a therapist, and they have a therapist, or they have, a pastor or a friend, or, whatever that outlet is for you, where you can pour out those things that you're going through, whether it be mental and emotional. That's also important, right? Then there's social self-care. That's engaging in experiences that nurture your relationships. That's family time. If you're in a relationship, that's date night. That's, calling your friends. If it's, hey, we have tea on Tuesdays, all the girls, so whatever that is on a social aspect, that's self-care. Then there's practical things, right? Sometimes, organization is a form of self-care, because, like, for me,
Yeah.
I like when things are orderly. So if I
Yes.
can't focus, then I'm just like, like, if my house is in disarray, then that means my mind is in disarray.
Disarray, right?
But if things are organized, then I feel like that's me taking care of myself as well. That can be financial as well, like creating a budget. Like, if my finances are out of whack, if I have money coming out, that used to be me. Like, I used to have money just coming out every which way, just, oh my God, my finances were a mess. And so I realized I needed to take better care of myself in that realm as well, by creating a financial budget. So I say all of that to say that there are self-care is, can be divided up into many different categories. So, it's not just, oh, I got my nails done, that's
Hmm.
self-care, or I got a pedicure.
Right.
But it's like, okay, what are you doing for your mind? What are you doing as it relates to relationships? What are you doing as it relates to your body, your health, your mental, your emotional, your physical, your social? All of that is self-care.
Yes. Couldn't have said it any better. All the long term things that are going to trickle down into future generations. That's what we got to focus on. That true, here to stay, permanent way of life, self care.
Absolutely.
That's what we got to do.
Absolutely.
That's what we have
Absolutely.
to do.
Yeah, we have to make sure that we maintain that. Ladies, feel free to chime in if you're on with us tonight. If you have a comment, or if you have a question about self-care, let us know in the chat. Let us know that you're here. Let us know where you're from. And let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep the conversation buzzing. Any questions for
Yes.
Kyra, definitely let her know. We are here for you tonight. We're talking about self care. If you're just tuning in, we are talking about self care, ways to take care of yourself so that you can be all you can be the best version of you.
Yep. So you can be there for other people by being there for yourself,
Mhm.
first of all.
So Kyra,
Yeah.
tell me, like,
And
what are some of your favorite, like, self-care routines? Like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you like to do as far as self-care?
well, first of all, taking a shower is so important to me.
Yes.
Just having like the nice smell good, and the I like to have like the different like moisturizers and the oils and little body oils and everything. Like that's my favorite. That's my favorite thing to do. My second favorite thing to do is to play the guitar. Third favorite thing to do is to read. And fourth, but not is not the least important, but it's definitely prayer and meditation. And I name that because that's the basis for everything else that I do. It leads me in everything else that I do in my life. Like you said, we both love God, and it's something that's important to us. Spirituality is a big thing in our lives, and it's just really important to me because that trickles down into different things and different decisions that I make, like what I choose to do, what I want to do, how I do it, when I do it, it's just really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let us know in the chat. Let us know what some of your favorite routines are. So let me see. I have a comment here. Shelly, we all need to know what type of activities bring us peace and engage in those more. Peace is underrated. Yes, it is. Listen here. When
Yes.
I tell you, I
Woo!
I feel like I can't trade my peace for nothing in the world. I love to have just the peace of mind. I love to come home and to know that it is my serene place. it is a peaceful environment. And like I can shove the world out after I'm done saving. It's
Mhm.
like at home, I get to take my cape off, and so I feel like every woman should have a place where they get to take that cape off. And that is a part of self-care, is like, where do you go? What is your place of relief, your place of peace and serenity, where you get to take that cape off and you just get to be you for that moment.
And it's so important that, and I like that because it's so important that you curate that space for yourself because you know what you like. You know what gives you that peace. You know what gives you that inner zen. You know what I mean? So it's so important that, you figure out those things that you like, whether you have to write it down or what have you, and just work on creating that place in your home because like she said, like Gigi said, like when you get home, it's your home. Like there's no other place for you to go but to your home. So why not make your home that safe space and that haven for you to decompress and de-stress? So I think that's important too, is finding peace because anxiety, oh my goodness, like I suffer with anxiety, and that's something that will really rob you of your peace. And when you have something that you can go home to that will really help you and aid you into getting into that state of not being so anxious, it's priceless. It's priceless. Nothing like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like there are enough things are that outside, right? Enough things in the world that will, help us to be anxious and help us to be stressed out and to be just have so many things going on. But if we have that serene place and if we practice habitual self-care, if we practice, mentally taking care of ourselves, physically taking care of ourselves, emotionally taking care of ourselves. I think emotionally, we don't talk about it enough, like emotional self care. A lot of times people talk about the
Emotional.
physical. You hear the physical aspects, right? Diet, exercise, sleep, relax, do some relaxation, breathing exercises, and so forth. But there's a lot of things emotionally that we have to make sure that we take care of because that those areas are where it festers and it goes into other parts of our bodies. And so we have to make sure
Yes.
that we're taking care of the emotional parts of us as well.
Yes, because my therapist always says, she says, the body keeps the score. Whether you know it or
Mhm.
not, your body keeps the score of everything that's going on inside of you, anxiety wise, stress wise, any of that. Your body keeps the score, and it will come out in whatever way it wants to show itself. So it's just so important because it's so important that we just keep stressing that self-care is not something that should be looked at as, oh, it's a special day, but it should be something, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that saying it's special, but as far as making it permanent, it like
Yeah,
just doing it constantly, keeping it
constantly.
up, exercising self-care
Hmm.
every day if you can. If you can every day, every other day, every week, anything that you can do, it really takes a load off of you as a person.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. And oh, Shelly says, and let me see. And finding peace also means identifying the stressors and the things that cause anxiety and building boundaries to protect yourself from them. That is so true. I think, like, once you find
yes.
your inner peace, you need to do anything and everything that you can do to guard that. So I'm very big on, like, I am like anti-stress and anti-confrontation. Like, I don't like any form of confrontation. So I will do my best to guard my peace and to guard, like, I'm a runner, like I will flee. Like if something is stressing me out or a person is stressing me out, you're just not gonna hear from me, you're just not gonna see me. Like I'm just gonna poof, disappear, because I don't want anything to come in between me and my peace. Because that is
Yes.
something that is very important to me. And so a lot of times we have to realize that it's okay to protect our peace. It's okay. Like if something
Right.
is causing you grief and anxiety and stress, and there's nothing wrong with building those boundaries to protect yourself from that. I completely agree, Shelly. Like, absolutely.
Yes. She dropping gems. Shelly's dropping gems, and it's a
Absolutely.
shirt out there. Yeah, it's a shirt out there. I forget who the brand is, but it's the protecting my peace part for me. You
Mhm.
know, like that's
So
what it
real.
is.
Absolutely.
It's
I
so true
completely agree. I
because a lot of people yeah, and a lot of people think that protecting their peace is being mean, but actually, when you're protecting your peace and you're drawing boundaries, you're actually kind of telling that person, like, hey, like, I don't want to end this relationship, but this is where I stand at this moment. So I'm just letting you know so that you can respect me. There's a difference between drawing boundaries and just cutting somebody off. You're not cutting the person off. And maybe depending on the toxicity of that person, you may have to cut them off. That may have to be your boundary for that time, but for the most part, you're not being mean.
yeah.
You're it's an act of self-preservation. And then that way other people on the outside can benefit because you're not exploding at them or you're not doing something that's out of character because you have not protected your peace.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes, and I think we discussed in one of the past episodes, but we talked about just, protecting yourself from those negative toxic relationships, because that all is confidence building. So if someone is not building your confidence and they're tearing it down, or they're causing you, to doubt yourself and to doubt your capabilities, then that's not necessarily the right relationship for you. And so sometimes you may have to cut a
Right.
few people loose. Sometimes some people, they may have been, at one season in your life, but if they're not, they may not see your next season. They may always just want to refer back to who you were instead of, I think I lost Kyra. So they may but yeah, so they may just see, who you were in your past self. And so that's very important, that as you're on this journey, there she is. Yeah, there you are. I think I lost you for a snippet. But as you're
This
on your journey, sometimes you have to get rid of a few people to protect yourself, and to keep on that, that self-care. Like, it's very important. Everybody can't go with you where you're going.
mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Can you
Absolutely.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. And once again I'm quoting my therapist. She was like, some people are here for a reason and for a season. So
Hmm.
you decide which one it is and you act accordingly. So I love my therapist. My therapist is
Yeah, and sometimes once their season is over, it's important to let them go. Don't let nobody
yeah,
mess up with your inner, like, your inner self. Like, this is so important. Like, as we're talking about all of these things, ladies, it's important. Like, I think for so long it's almost like we don't want to, like, we want to do for everybody else and we put ourselves last. But no, it's time we start putting ourselves first. And self-care is part of that. It is part of putting yourself first. Because you have, if you can't, if there's no more you, if you have nothing left to give, then you're not worth anything to anybody else, because you're depleted, you're finished. And so you have to continue to pour into you and to take care of you.
right. And it doesn't make you less of a woman if you decide to do these things for yourself. Like there's nothing wrong with taking breaks. Like I said before earlier, like for those who are just tuning in now, I said there was nothing wrong with taking a break and having those acts of self-preservation because it doesn't make you weak. It actually gives you stronger emotional intelligence and makes you more in tune to yourself as a person. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that I would suggest is maybe having a self care calendar. I don't know if anyone that's in the chat does a self care calendar, but doing a calendar, and that is something that, hey, on this date. So I do something. So people who know me, they know I have what's called Gigi Day. And Gigi Day is the 22nd of every month. And it's so that's my birth. So my birthday is December the 22nd. So the 22nd of every month, I just do, it's all me. Like, don't bother me. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. And I do different things, and some months it's something fun and spontaneous. Some months it's like I just need to sleep for 10 hours with no judgment. Like, don't judge me,
Hey,
I'm tired, I just want to sleep. Some months I do massages, I do just whatever it is that I feel that is going to show myself that love that I need. Like, this is how I want to show myself love this month on that particular day. Not to say that's the only time I do self care, but I know specifically on that day, I'm doing some type of loving and nurturing activity for me. So really, really important. Design a day for you. Create a time that is just for you, wherever, and everybody knows when it's Gigi Day. They know either you joining me because I
mm-hmm.
may do something socially. I may want to do something where I just want to hang out with some friends and hey, let's get together and let's do this together. And so sometimes it's that time. And then other times I just want to be by myself. And I deserve that. And I
Yeah.
don't apologize for it. I don't make no excuses. Like, it is what it is. This is what I'm doing. And that's that. So I would suggest, if you're listening and if you don't have a routine or a calendar or something that you say, this is something I do continuously. So I have been doing Gigi days for like maybe like the past 5 years. And I've done all sorts of things, from throwing parties to spa days to just traveling, all types of different things that I've done. And it's really fun and it's really exciting. And it's one of the things that I enjoy most about my self-care rituals and routines. So definitely find something that you absolutely love to do, and keep on doing it over and over again.
Over and over again. And I have to say that it's so important that we as women do this because our daughters and our family are watching us. And it's the things that we teach them that really will go down to further generations. Like, those things can actually prevent a lot of things from happening with our generations, and just so many different things, because we're teaching and they see that and they know that our mental health is a priority, especially within the Black community. Mental health um, has to be a priority, has to be something, and it's starting to be talked about, and it's amazing. I love it, especially what Gigi's doing, keeping it going, you know what I mean? And it's wonderful, and it's something that should always be in the forefront, is taking care of yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically, especially mentally though, because that trickles on everything else. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just, self-care is just so important. It's just important.
Yeah, definitely, 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 absolutely. It really is. So tell us a little bit more. I know you said you were going to tell us about you told us a little bit about Sisters in Self Care. So if someone's watching,
Mhm.
tell them how they can get in touch with you. What are some of the things that you offer? That way they can get in touch with you if they're looking for that additional connection with you.
So I'm a speaker as well. So I offer to speak at different events. The last event I spoke at was about generational trauma and family secrets. I spoke at Busboys and Poets, where I live at. It was over 100 people, 100 women there. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful event. It was by Team for All, the nonprofit called Team for All, TEAM, Together Everyone Achieves More for All. And that was wonderful. So I speak. So if you want me to speak at your next event, whether virtual or physical, let me know. Um, I offer, so my two keynotes are self care, Sisters in Self Care, and generational trauma, family secrets. And I'm working on some more keynotes. So you know, and also I also do coaching as well. I also do coaching, of course. I don't know why I had to think about that. But I do coaching for our beautiful women, our beautiful queens. I do coaching for our beautiful teen queens. I do that as well. I'm a mental health advocate. I can point you in the right direction to, like, if you need help finding out resources for like mental health, or anything like that, just let me know and I'll be able to point you in the right direction. I'm trying to think of what else I do. I'm just a general overall good listening ear, no judgment, no telling anybody what you told me, keeping it confidential, everything. So, yep.
Absolutely, definitely. So if you're tuning in tonight and you're looking for that additional support, please feel free to reach out to Kyra, and she can be of support to you if you're looking for additional resources and mental health. If you're looking for a speaker for your event, definitely reach out to her. So this has been amazing. Just talking about self care, I get so like excited to talk about all these
Yes.
different things. So what are some final words that you have for those people that were listening tonight? Ways that they can take better care of themselves? What can they do to start? What are some things that they can do? If somebody was listening, they had never heard of the word self-care, or they didn't really know what all that entails. What are some things that they can do just to start that self-care routine? What would be your advice to them?
Just remember that self-care is an act of self-preservation. It's preserving yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. Um, Definitely you want to decide what makes your place a safe haven, and decide on that and stick with that. Continuously work on that, never stop. It's something that should be a permanent way of life. Self-care is permanent. Self-care is it brings you up, it lifts you up so that you can be there for everyone else, and it affects everyone around you because it's affecting you and you touch everyone around you. So just know that and just remember that, and that you can do it. It doesn't make you less of a person. It gives you more emotional intelligence, if anything, and it helps you through life, through anything, as long as you take care of yourself and practice care.
Absolutely, absolutely. And self-care is necessary. It is necessary that we do that. So I do have a special gift for everybody that's on tonight. So if you guys log on to www.gigincacademy.org, I have a free download. It is a free um, guide for self care. And basically, what you can do is we have included a self care calendar in there for you, some self care nuggets. We even have a self care pledge. Just a lot of great things, great tools to help you get started on your self care journey. That way, you are intentional about taking better care of yourself, and you're doing it. You have something that is going to help you accomplish the task at hand. So I am super excited to share that with you all. So if you just go on, I just put it in the chat. There we go. So that way you can go on there. Once you log in, you'll see it. You just download the self-care. Oh, what happened? Make sure I spelled it right. Yeah, I did. All right. So just go on the website and download the free self-care guide. And that way you guys will have an opportunity just to take advantage of that resource and really just, see what it does. So last thing, Kyra, just let them know how they can connect with you, and if you have any final words before we end for tonight.
We love you, love yourself, and always love yourself. And don't forget about the children. The children are watching, and and you can find me at Instagram. Is Instagram at first of all, it's at Kyra, so it's spelled KYRAARIANA_. That's my handle on Instagram. You can find me there. You can also email me at hello@kyraariana.com. It's spelled the same way, which is without the underscore. So it's hello@kyraariana.com, where you can email me. You can inquire about coaching, inquire about speaking, mental health advocacy, all of that. You can inquire about that. You can also DM me on Instagram, which is at Kyra Ariana_, which is at KYRAARIANA_. It's good.
Awesome. So thank you guys. Thank you so much, Kyra, for coming in and just spending some time with us right here on Confidence Tea Infusions, where we are always just excited to have this conversation with you all over a cup of tea, which I've been having my tea. I don't know if you guys have.
I need to drink some water because my mouth is dry.
So definitely want you guys to stay connected, stay plugged in, tune in. We'll be back next week for Confidence Tea Infusions, 8 o'clock p.m. We have a whole new guest, a whole new segment for you next Sunday at 8 o'clock p.m. Make sure you download the free resource that we have for you. And for more information about our upcoming Confidence Glam Camp, which Miss Kyra will be joining us at Confidence Glam Camp. She'll be teaching a workshop for our young ladies. So definitely, if you have any young daughters between the ages of 8 and 18, you can meet us at Confidence Glam Camp 2021. It will be taking place in Roberts, Georgia. We will also have a virtual glam camp available. That way they can still take advantage of a lot of the workshops that we'll be having live at Confidence Glam Camp. So for more information about that, you can visit our website at www.giginc.org. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. It has been a pleasure just chatting with you all. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And remember, self-care is the best care. Good night.